Hello, it's Michelle Ruth here, and we're going to be working flowers in a row as part of my knee-high flower socks pattern. Flowers in a row can be worked on multiple things, but it is one of the requirements of my knee-high socks. So, as you know, we're working magic loop, and we're going to be doing 2 socks at the same time. So I've set up a sample here to demonstrate how to do the flowers in a row. And we're working with the Caron yarn in red, and then the flowers are actually going to be in white. So we've got this set up, and we'll get started. So as you know, we have 60 stitches in total per sock, and this works out perfectly for doing the flowers around. So the first row is going to be, since we're changing color, we need a base row because I don't want the bottom to tie in the red as part of the flower. I want it to be all white. So the first row, we're going to just simply do a knitted white row. So I'm just going to attach my white yarn, and I'll leave a tail that I will work in later. So simply knit across the first 30 stitches all the way across. And so on, all the way down to here. And then I will attach yarn to this one and then knit across here. And I'll meet you at the end over here. Okay, so we've got that first 30 stitches done on the first and second sock. Now I'm going to work these stitches down to here, pick up this white yarn and work down to here. And I will meet you when I get there. Okay, so we're now set up for the second row. And as I said before, you do this first row because you're using a different color. If you were keeping the same color, you wouldn't need to do that first row. But since we needed that first row of knitting all the way around. So now we're going to start with the flowers. So what you're going to do is we're going to be purling, because if you were going to be doing this on a flat piece, working back and then turning and then working the back side, you would be knitting each row. But because we're going to be working and always having the right side in front of us, we need to mimic a stockinette stitch, basically. So you're going to be purling this row to get the correct effect. So when you purl, you have to have that working yarn in front, underneath. So we're going to purl the first stitch, and then we're going to purl, but we're going to wrap the yarn 3 times. 1, 2, 3, and pull that stitch through. And you're going to do that 5 times. Wrapped around, 1, 2, 3, purl it. Whoops. A little snug. Not quite so snug. So that's 2. 1, 2, 3. Okay, so there's 3. 1, 2, 3. Trying to do them a little looser so they're not quite so tight. There we go. There's 4. 1, 2, 3. Okay, so there's 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Now you're going to purl 1 stitch, and then you're going to do 5 again and continue working your row across. When I get to here, I'll stop Okay, so now I'm down to this end and I have 5 left. So we're going to simply purl that one, and then we're going to do these 5. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, and 3. And 1, 2, and 3. Okay. Okay, so now we're just going to drop that yarn because this is magic loop. We will continue when we get to it, but we have to do the second one first. So again, we're going to drop those ones and then come over to here and do the same thing, exactly what we just did, but on this sock. And again, so it's going to be purl, so the yarn goes in front. We're going to purl that first stitch in the white. Whoops. Make sure my yarn is down and in front. Otherwise it gets caught up. It's in front. Do that again. Purl that first stitch. There we go. Then we're going to do 5 with wrapping 3 times, 5 stitches. 1, 2, 3, and continue on with purl 1, do 5 wrapped stitches until you get to the end, just like on this one, and then I'll meet you back over here where we start the other side. Okay, so we have the first half done on each sock. Now we're going to turn our work and push our needle through, all the way through. That join thing in there, the connector, sometimes it gets caught. Okay. There we go. There we go. Looks like a lot of stitches, but it's not. Okay. Now we did the 1, and there's 5 there, so we simply start same as the other side. First one is going to be a purl. Same thing for this side. A purl, and then 5, 1, 2, 3, wrapped 3 times, all purl stitches. Three, so there's 4, 5, and then just a normal purl stitch, and then keep going till you get to the end, and then pick up this one, and then same thing until you get to the end, and I'll meet you back here. Okay, now we have all of our wrapped stitches loaded and ready to go. Now we're going to start making these flowers. So the first stitch is going to be knit. I'm going to knit that first one. Now we're going to start taking these off. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Now you're going to take your yarn, bring it around the front, and grab these 5 stitches with the left needle, load them there, and bring this yarn in the back, load these back over to this needle, then wrap the yarn around again, load them back to the left needle, wrap that yarn around the back, and through again. So you've got 2 rows wrapped there. Then you're going to knit the next stitch, which holds it together. Okay, you may have to adjust those stitches in the center, those wraps, just to make sure they're even. And then we're going to do the next 5. So again, yarns in the back, pull them off, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. We're going to pull that yarn around, then we're going to pull those 5 stitches to the left needle. Thought I was missing one there. There. Pull the yarn to the back, load them back over to the right needle, pull the yarn around, load them back to the left needle, and again pull the yarn to the back, not too tight, and then just make sure they're evenly spaced, and then knit the next stitch, which kind of sets it and holds it in place. Okay, so you're going to do that across till you get to here, and then we'll start the other sock. Same thing. Okay, so I'm on the last set on the first sock, so now I'm going to be wrapping this and grabbing those 5 stitches on the left needle, put the yarn around, right needle, back around, left needle, put it in the back, and then back on there. At this point, you're going to drop that yarn and let it hang there, and then again work your second sock and work these stitches up your needle, slide them up there, and then we're going to start this one just like we did this way, and you end up with 5 flowers on each side. Okay, meet you back at the end. Okay, so you should have 5 flowers per side on each sock. Now the next row will be the last row to finish this, and then you'll be changing color again. So now to have this match down here, we're going to purl each stitch. So okay, for purling you have the yarn in front and simply purl each one across. Try not to split your threads. So it's going to be like that all the way across. See? And that's how it'll look. And once you get all the way down and across, I'll show you a pair that I'm working on of the socks. So as you can see, that's how it looks on the knee-high socks. Here's our completed sample of flowers in a row using Magic Loop, doing 2 at a time, which is part of my pattern for my knee-high flower socks. Thanks for watching.